Brooke and Jason here at Clear Creek Farm. How we doing today? We are back to talk about the cost of raising bucks. So let's talk a little bit about cost, the feeding costs and stuff before we get into the animal side. Like I said the last time, we average about $5 a bale to get hay into our barn, which on average is 20 cents per pound to get a 50-pound bale. 50 to 75 pound bale, it averages about 20 cents per pound. The average goat, bucks could be a little bit less, but we still feed our bucks quite a little bit of hay. And so you're averaging 3 to 4 pounds per day. I'd say probably more on the 3-pound side per day for bucks. Like I said the last time, we only raise our bucks on either a buck feed or once they get to that 1.5 to 2 years old, based on how much we are actually going to be showing them, they go from a buck feed over to our regular show feed. Our buck feed for that first basically 1.5 cost us 34 cents a pound, average is about $17 per bag. So you got 34 cents a pound. And our bucks average anywhere from 2 pounds to 4 pounds per day per buck. So I'm going to get into the numbers based on the age of the bucks.
This is something that's kind of a big pet peeve of mine. You see a lot of bucks out there for sale that are priced way below, or bucks that really shouldn't be bucks at all. And unless you're literally not feeding them feed at all, or only feeding them half a pound, or not even half a pound, fourth of a pound of feed a day, even pricing a buck at $300, you're not even breaking even. You cannot maintain a program or a business on those numbers. It's impossible.
So let's talk about from weaning to 6 months of age. Most bucks can start breeding at 6 months. So you can sometimes find some young ones. It's going to cost most people $100 on average, $100 to $125 from the time they get weaned to 6 months old. So if you're selling a buckling at 6 months old, you got the cost of the mom.
That's on the low side.
Yeah.
That's low.
You have the cost of the mom that actually put that kid out there for you to be able to sell him, to the time that you're selling him. You got at least $100, $120 minimal into him. So that's just the 6 months. But when you go from that 6 months to another 1.5 years, which most people that want good quality show animals don't want to buy a buck that's 6 months old because they don't know what he's going to produce. Yes, he could have good bloodlines. He could have great bloodlines, but he might not produce nothing. It's a crapshoot, basically. So bucks 6 months to 1.5 years, our bucks are averaging right around 3 pounds per day per feeding. Plus you got the hay on top of that. So you're at, for our show feed, which is a little bit more expensive for the buck feed, that's $372.30. Plus you have that $219 of hay cost into there. So for that first 1.5 years of life, you're at $691.30 just for that first 1.5 years of life. That don't even mean if you use them to produce some more kids off of him. You know, you might save a little bit of money on that cost because you got some return on investment. But just to raise up a buck for that first year and a half is $691.30.
Yeah, you also have to remember that not everyone, some people are going to be paying more for feed and hay, some people are going to be paying a little less. So these are average costs.
And these don't have your veterinary costs, they don't have
Bedding,
they don't have, if you got maintenance on your buildings and stuff. These are animal average costs to raise out these animals. So now let's go to like our senior bucks or older bucks. Once they hit that year and a half, they get cut back a little bit, but they go more on to our show feed. And we don't usually, once they hit that 2-year mark, unless they're super good, we don't usually keep on showing them because we're hoping by 2 years old, they produced enough points in the ring where we don't have to keep on pushing them. I think that's a big reason why there's a lot of good bucks that were out there that are dead now, because they keep on pushing them, trying to keep them going and stuff. And I hate to say it, it puts a lot of stress on them bucks.
Yeah, they shouldn't. If they get too fat, they can't do their jobs. They can't breathe. They can't walk. So when they reach a certain age, they should be cut back a little bit so they can actually do their job.
Exactly. So on our older bucks, they still average about 4 pounds per day. Our senior bucks, we might cut them back a little bit, but it's more of what they're cleaning up in a timely manner. But our older bucks from that year and a half on up until they're at least 3 or 4, they're getting on average 4 pounds per day for feeding. Plus their hay on top of that 3 to 4 pounds. Usually when they get older, our older bucks, we keep feed or hay in front of them most all day. It helps them a little bit more with their rumen and stuff like that. So on 4 pounds a day, and they're onto our show feed, so it's a little bit less.
And when he means less cost, and it's not quite as rich as the buck feed, so you're able to feed them a little bit more.
Right. So for our show feed is $481.80 for 12 months for that buck to be on the show feed at 4 pounds per day. Then you got the $219 on for his hay cost per day or for the whole year. So that's a grand total of $700.80. So yes, you got to be covering enough does to recoup that on that older buck. But when you go get ready to sell that buck, you got to make sure that you can be able to cover. I understand you can't cover, if you had him for 3 years, you can't cover that $700 for 3 years because he's going to be older. But you still should be able to recoup a good amount of your cost to get some of that reimbursed back to you. Yes, you have kids on the ground. Yes, you have offspring that you're keeping and saving and making money off of. But over time, it all breaks down. These are just numbers for 1 year to be able to raise that animal.
Just to maintain that older buck.
Right, just to maintain that older buck. So if you're going to run 2 or 3 bucks on your farm, say you got 20 does, you're going to run 2 or 3 different bucks because you want to be able to have a little bit of diversity. You're right there just for bucks. You're at almost $1,200 a year just to maintain 2 bucks. Everybody says it's expensive to go take your does to outside breedings. But if you look at them numbers, you got to have a lot of does to take and recoup them cost.
Yeah, so if you only have, 4 or 5 does, it's actually cheaper for you to take them somewhere and have them live covered rather than maintain a buck.
Especially if you can find some good local breeders with good quality animals that are going out in the show ring and actually competing in the show ring on a regular basis. So let's go over why animals, you need to be able to sell animals, quality animals, good animals. I hate to say it, even fair to middling animals. Yes, everybody needs to have something to be able to get into the industry. But for you to go out there and sell $100 animals at a year old, you're losing money. Um, it's just facts, and numbers don't lie. You can figure out your own numbers. If you need help figuring out your own numbers, let me know. I can more than help you figure them out. I'm good with numbers. It's something I do. So it's just
It's basically just put out there because we've seen so many people, uninformed people, selling animals for way less than they should be. Not because maybe the quality of the animal, but just the numbers wise, just for how much it costs to actually raise them. I mean, I don't want to see people losing money on any animal. It's not right. Yeah, I would just, if you're new in the industry, I would just highly encourage you to talk to an experienced breeder who's already been in the business for a while, and they can basically walk you in the right direction. It'll save you time, money, lots of money in the long run if you do that.
so. Thank you for coming along. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you learned something, because that's what we're here to do. Have a great day, and see you guys on the next video.